This video is brought to you by Best Buy. Yo, did you know these are freaking hard to get? Like, extremely hard?
Oh yeah? There's at least 12 of these bad boys at Best Buy, bro. It's actually crazy. There's a bunch.
Really, man? That was definitely not my case. You wanna help me out and unbox these things? Bro, what color did you get?
Dude, this only comes in black, man. Let's get started.
Let's do this, man.
Oh, there you are. There it is.
Nice.
Black.
Are those batteries?
HDMI.
HDMI. Power cable?
Power cable.
Charging cable.
AA battery. This is a perfect size.
My thing's way too big.
Size.
This is next gen.
Actually,
This is.
I'm actually more used to
Can
this
get used to
one.
this. Yeah, okay, so I've got both consoles, one for the condo and the other one, well, it usually stays at the studio. I'm just going to come out and say it, choosing is a tough choice. I don't particularly like one more than the other. However, the PS5 and the Xbox do bring different types of gaming experiences for me, and I think that's what you guys should focus on when choosing. One factor to consider is the look and design. The Xbox looks a bit more minimal. I personally think it's a nicer aesthetic and looks so nice in my living room. I'm not afraid to have this on my TV stand because it doesn't give that hardcore gaming vibe with this matte black look. I will say it's a fingerprint magnet, but easy to clean. Regardless, even though it's small, it does have this awkward bulkiness to it, and if I want to fit a soundbar here, well, I sort of need to figure out where to displace this. It fits in most places, but it's too tight for my slim drawers, which is different from the PlayStation 5 because of the way it was made. But the first time I saw the PlayStation 5, it was way bigger than what I thought. It just made it harder for me to fit in most places and can make things awkward at times. In contrast to the Xbox, the PlayStation 5 does look a lot more alien-like. It's a console that glows when it's on, it's sort of slim, which is great for tighter spaces, and it has some matte white with some gloss black in the middle. It really does scream next-gen console. Definitely pops a lot more and can definitely be an eyesore if you don't know where to place it. As for what's in the box, well, let me start by saying that I've always liked the Xbox unboxing experience a lot more, and if we were to compare both boxes, you see how much smaller the Microsoft box is. The Xbox comes with a 2.1 HDMI cable, the power cord, product guides and warranty, the controller with included batteries, and a how to set up guide. The PlayStation 5 unboxing experience is a bit more dull. I did get the God of War Ragnarok edition. However, aside from them providing the Ragnarok voucher, the unboxing experience is the same regardless. Inside, you get a power cord, a USB-C cable to charge the DualSense, of course, the controller itself, a 2.1 HDMI cable, some printed materials, and the base. As much as I appreciate Microsoft's unboxing experience, if I could give that up to have a built-in battery within the Xbox controller, I would. But not everyone thinks the same. I do have to thank Best Buy for actually having the Xbox in stock when I needed it. I got them to sponsor another video after asking them, and even though I paid for the console myself, I appreciate how awesome of a store they have been, even when I worked there. Honestly, Best Buy has some fantastic deals going on for the holidays. I actually got my LG G2 on sale a couple of months ago for $1,500 less, and that promotion is still running. With Christmas just around the corner, I think Best Buy is your best bet to get your favorite electronics at a great price. This includes Xbox accessories, PS5 games, cool gaming monitors, and so on. By the way, if you ever find a product at a lower price on the internet, Best Buy will match the product's price. On my end, when I ordered my Xbox Series X, it took about 2 to 3 business days for the Xbox to arrive at my house. They honestly have some of the fastest fulfillment options. Don't forget that with their Total Tech membership, you have access to services like protection plans, which actually cover your Xbox or PS5 controllers, and in case you got a TV at a great price, they also offer an installation with a wall mounting service. I would totally check them out. I'll also leave a link to these consoles and to shop Best Buy's top deals. Now, if we were to compare these controllers, some people do like having swappable batteries, as the DualSense lithium-ion batteries slowly lose how much charge they can hold over time, which I understand. Another point worth considering is that for most people, including myself, the Xbox controllers feels better. I don't know, there's just something about the ergonomics, the placement of your thumbs, and how thick the handles are that make it better. The DualSense just feels smaller and lighter in some way, and I've never been a fan of the PlayStation's button layout. But that's just my personal opinion and my personal experience. On top of that, the Xbox battery does last longer, about 10 hours more or so. However, I do enjoy not having to think about buying rechargeable batteries with the DualSense. Another thing I love about the PlayStation 5's controller is how alive it feels. It is $10 more expensive than the Xbox controller, but I mean, think about it. You get haptic feedback, adaptive triggers which adapt as you are pulling the trigger on games like Call of Duty for example. They also implemented a built-in speaker with a mic in case you want to chat with your buddies, and a gyroscope along with the dual pad. I mean, this really is a next-gen controller, and I feel like Xbox do massively lack on that. Just adding extra grip to the buttons and triggers doesn't do it for me, which is why I feel like they tried to redeem themselves with the Xbox Elite controller. But there's just something so good about the asymmetrical look and the nostalgia Xbox delivers. Although I will give this one to Sony, the amount of details the DualSense has is incredible. I just really wish it was a lot easier to connect to the PC. The Xbox controller really makes PC gaming a lot easier. When it comes to usability, both consoles have their own way of delivering. Look, the Xbox has these little grips that allow you to dock it horizontally. It also has this inbuilt disc tray for a vertical look. The front cover delivers a nice Xbox symbol power button, a sync button with a USB port next to it, and the eject disc button next to the disc tray. I will say, I'm bummed out at the fact that we don't have more than one USB port, neither do we have a USB-C port. It does give me more of an outdated feel. On the other hand, the PlayStation 5 does deliver in this department, but my main issue with this gloss black front is that it scratches so easily over time. However, I do like how awesome the console looks when it's turned on. Instead of having a glowing power button, the console itself glows. The PlayStation 5 also came with a disc tray to be able to either properly stand it or dock it horizontally. I mainly recommend using this for when you want to dock it horizontally, to be honest. When it comes to the ports in the back, well, they are both very much the same. The only difference is that the Xbox has an expansion card storage in the back and the PlayStation has it more or less internally, which is super easy to install. Both these consoles deliver more or less the same amount of storage. Actually, to be exact, the Xbox Series X features a 1TB internal SSD with approximately 800 GB available to the user after system software. The PlayStation 5, on the other hand, features 825 GB, but only up to 700 GB of that is available to the user. If neither of them seem to make sense for you when it comes to installing games, you might have to get an expansion card. I do think having an SSD and transferring games back and forth is the cheaper alternative. If you do find that annoying, well, note that your cheapest alternative to run games from the SSD costs about $150 for the Xbox. And for the PlayStation, well, it depends. I've never done so myself, but to expand the PlayStation 5's storage, you need a proper M.2 SSD. Something similar to what Corsair have to offer. You can install from 250 GB to 4 TB if needed, and you need to make sure you respect the overall requirements Sony recommends. I don't know, for me, a feature like this really screams next gen. I like it, it's awesome, it's there for everyone to use if needed. Okay, so once both consoles are on, when it comes to the menu, their UI, home screen, and so on, they've always felt different to me. On one end, I'm not much of a fan when it comes to the Xbox menu, simply because ever since the release of the Xbox One, things haven't changed much. Sony actually did the effort to redesign their whole user interface from scratch by keeping their PlayStation 4 menu DNA and made it a much more immersive experience. It's quick, snappy, the games are super accessible and look awesome, but the Xbox is just plain old boring and looks like my Windows Start menu. As much as I'd rather PlayStation 5 UI design, I do like the fact that Xbox makes theirs a bit more customizable. You can very much personalize the way you want it to look. However, the PlayStation 5 menu is still far from perfect. One thing that annoys me is that when it comes to doing simple things like leaving a party or even turning it off, it takes extra clicks to accomplish those actions. Even getting back into a game when you open something else, it's a pain. I must say, I honestly love the quick resume feature that Microsoft implemented. It really allows to have multiple games running at the same time and seamlessly switch between them. As seamless as it does take a bit of time to load the next game from where you started. I will also say, regardless of the console, pressing both home buttons on each controller does reveal an overwhelming amount of icons within their quick menu. To me, if you've never owned an Xbox or a PlayStation, it can be daunting. You really sort of have to go through the UI to really understand what's going on. Both consoles greet you differently. The interactivity and user experience of their home menu is also different, and even their stores when shopping for games delivers a very different experience. I will say though, once your games are downloaded and installed, the games library looks the same. Here's where you will find all the games you own that can be played. For me, it's all about exclusivity. I mean, both consoles play games like COD and FIFA, but what about a Spider-Man or Forza Horizon? Games that can only be played on either or. It's really a tough one because if you are a petrol head like I am, or your favorite superhero happens to be Spider-Man, well, you are in for a treat as these are expensive consoles. On my end, I had no choice but to get both. I do like the storytelling the PlayStation 5 exclusives deliver, a lot more compared to Xbox, but there's not a better racing game than Forza Horizon 5 and nothing more nostalgic than Halo in my opinion. Talking about nostalgia, one thing that would make me want to choose the Xbox over the PlayStation 5 is Game Pass. Game Pass is hands down so much better compared to the PlayStation Plus tiers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, basically for a fixed dollar amount every month, you get access to a huge library of games that you can play anytime you wish to do so, meaning that Game Pass has a lot more games, lets you play EA games, Xbox 360 titles, exclusives, and even OG Xbox games. Yes, $15 a month is a lot of money, but think about it. Games are now like $69 a pop. It's like buying 3 games a year. Definitely worth it in my opinion if you are someone that enjoys their gaming nights. Plus, you'll still have access to games the night they come out. I'll leave a link down below of a Reddit thread I saw so you guys can take a look at the difference between both of them. Look, as a whole, I will say performance really doesn't matter. They both load games just as fast, they are both very quiet consoles, and the graphics are just as good. They both deliver incredibly similar resolutions that add that touch of realism to whatever games you are playing, and some games will load faster on the PlayStation 5 and others on the Xbox. I think it's important to know those games' development backgrounds as some game devs are more familiar with the PlayStation 5 world than the Xbox world, and vice versa. It's also important to note that every console has its own way of being pushed. Like on the PlayStation, you can set the console to performance mode. On the Xbox, you can simply just tweak the resolution and refresh rate. Altogether, this just ensures you can get the best performance for the games that really allow you to do so. But something that these companies never tell you is that to achieve crazy hertz, they do need to cut down on the number of items being rendered on the screen to deliver a smooth gaming experience. This happens on both consoles, so be mindful of that. If you want a really good explanation on how these things happen and why they happen, check out Vincent's video, which is absolutely fascinating when comparing the performance of both these consoles. Look, my goal is to guide you guys, and so I talk from experience, mainly since I own both. I've also done some research and guided you to check those links out before buying. Do your due diligence so you can make sure you are happy at the end of the day with whatever you get. Personally, I think the PlayStation 5 is a clear winner for most people, although I do really like Game Pass a lot more, which is why I think Xbox is for me. I hope this video has been helpful for the holidays and for the future, and hopefully you guys are also able to buy these at fair prices. It's time for me to get going. I've got a Call of Duty lobby to join. I'll see you all soon. Take care.